Hello, everyone. My name is Ross Kim, and today I will be presenting week four, which is entitled Adaptive Approaches to Decision Making, a Cognitive and Experiential System. This presentation examines adaptive decision making from a cognitive and experiential perspective, which focus on how individuals and organizations navigate complexity through learning, reasoning, and experience. In my experience in analytics and AI-driven systems, decision-making behaves less like a one-time choice and more like an evolving process, kind of like a feedback loop, which is shaped by uncertainty, feedback, and experience. Um, so for me, decision-making is not static. In other words, it adapts. The focus is on organizational decision-making under uncertainty. And this is in the context of analytics and AI systems compared to human capital. What this means is that decisions are not constantly being updated based on new information, rather than made once and finalized. The articles here allow examination through adaptive decision making across cognition, reasoning, and uncertainty and real world experience. So I chose for my first article by Kyung-Soo Chang and Tak Jae-eun on metacognition, and then Givedi on strategic planning, and Klein on naturalistic decision making. Each one of these articles focuses on a different part of the process, and this allows us to see how adaptation happens across multiple layers instead of just one single step. This combination of empirical, theoretical, and applied approaches provide a comprehensive view of decision making in complex environments. For example, for the first article it regards the quantitative perspective, and then Gavetti conceptual or theoretical, and Klein observational and applied. This mix I feel is important because decision making in these environments cannot fully be understood through just one method. So starting off with Article 1, the study shows that adaptive decision making begins with metacognition, which is awareness of how we think and process information. It's basically just like self-awareness. So this focuses on metacognition into adaptive performance, and the model is from reflection to creativity to adaptation. So the key idea here is that without reflection, decision makers tend to repeat the same patterns instead of actually adapting. The second article explains how leaders make decisions in unfamiliar situations, and they do this by relying on analogies and cognitive representations rather than just complete information. The focus here is on reasoning under uncertainty, and the key idea is decision making through analogy and mental models. So instead of calculating just from square one, decision makers use existing mental models to interpret unfamiliar situations. And my third article, which is by Klein, this shows that in real environments, decisions are often made based on pattern recognition and experience rather than just formal analysis. Focuses on real world decision making, and the key idea here is experience. It's experience driven, and it's decisions made rapidly. So this allows for faster responses, especially in environments where there's not enough time for detailed analysis. Each article here highlights a different mechanism that enables adaptation in decision making and not just separate approaches. So they work together at different levels of the same decision system. So an example would be for like, but how they differ in mechanism. So cognition would become metacognition when thinking more inwards and self-evaluating. Reasoning becomes analogy, and this is when we rely on prior models instead of just complete data. And behavior becomes experience, where repeated action turns into recognizable systems. These are different ways the system adapts under uncertainty. So adaptive decision making results from the interaction between how we think, how we reason, and what we have experienced. The quality of decisions depends on how well these components can interact with each other, and not just how strong any one component is. So this emerges from metacognitive cognitive awareness, cognitive reasoning, and experiential learning. These interactions are what allows the system to adapt. Metacognition adjusts thinking, analogy guides reasoning, and experience refines behavior over time. So these models together explain how decisions are formed under complex or uncertain situations. Um, each of these models represent a different stage of the same process. They go from reflective to reasoning and then to action, and they work together in sort of a feedback loop. So, how this can apply to human capital? I think that organizations should focus on developing both cognitive and experiential capabilities in their workforce. For example, they should develop reflective thinking. They should train for decision making under uncertainty, and they should leverage experiential learning. They should also develop both analytical thinking and real world experience, and not just one or the other. So, in my work, I treat decision making as a system that combines data driven insights and experiential learning. So, it goes from decision systems, which are measurable, to learning loops, which are trackable, and then experience plus data, which are optimized decisions. This data provides structure while experience provides context. So the system improves when both continuously update through feedback loops. So in conclusion, better decisions emerge not from perfect information, but from better cognitive and experiential systems. This is through being dynamic, occurring under uncertainty, and improving through learning and experience. The focus should be on eliminating uncertainty. I'm sorry, it should not be eliminating uncertainty, but it should be on improving how systems respond to it. And thank you for watching. That is the end of my presentation.